Hello, my name is Matthew Day. I'm one of the UAL short course tutors. I'll take you through the various steps of completing the graded award and explain what you need to do, what you're marked on, the best ways to photograph and present your work, and how to upload and submit your work for the award. The graded award in composition tests your ability to create relationships between objects through scale and texture, and to evoke meaning and narrative in drawing. You need to create and submit a series of drawings which focus on composition. You can use pencils or pens or charcoal to make your drawing on plain A3 or A4 paper. You'll be given a selection of themes such as celebration, home, work, food. You need to select one theme and then select a range of objects connected to the theme. Using the objects, arrange them in a composition that best represents the theme. Your composition must include at least 3 objects. However, you can include more than 3. Let's run through an example. If we choose a theme like food, we can start to think about all the different objects that we might associate with food, such as fruit and vegetables and meat, but also other objects that we might associate with food, such as cutlery or pots and pans, or even cookbooks. Maybe we could set a table for a meal. As you progress your ideas, you can start to make further connections and bring them into your composition. When creating your composition, think about the objects that you have chosen and how they relate to each other. You want to link the objects through the theme, but you should also consider different sizes or scales of the objects, as well as elements such as the texture, the reflection, pattern. It's also worth considering how you light the objects, as this can really help to create mood and narrative in your work. One of the most important aspects of composition is the placement of different objects on the page and how that creates depth and draws the eye into the picture plane. Part of the tasks for this grade is to create 6 thumbnail sketches, and this will give you the opportunity to really experiment with the placement of objects as well as your viewpoint. Thumbnail sketches are small drawings that allow the artist to plan and consider different elements for a final composition. These drawings are usually less detailed than the final piece and document the different compositional elements that the artist has considered. Once you've completed the thumbnail sketches, choose the best composition to produce your final drawing. Remember to take photographs as you go through the process so you can select and submit an in-progress photo. We mark your work on 3 distinct criteria: accuracy and observation, your use of materials and techniques, and your ability to create an interesting and visually complex image. For accuracy and observation, we look at how the drawing gives the illusion of 3 dimensions. For this criteria, you need to be sure that you accurately capture all the things that you observe, such as the different scales of the various objects and how they are placed to give a sense of perspective and depth to your drawing. How well you've observed line, shape, tone, to give a sense of volume to the objects you have drawn is also really important. For materials and techniques, we look at how well you can use materials and techniques to create tonal differences as well as different textures. Here, we also look at how carefully you've crafted your drawing. This is where we look at your thumbnail drawings to see how you've experimented with different compositional techniques. With visual interpretation, we assess the choices that you've made in setting up your composition, and we're looking at how effectively you've used composition to create visual interest and explore your artistic intentions. Your choice of object, how the objects relate to each other, can highlight how you've interpreted the theme and show your development as an artist. We use assessment grids so that everyone's work is marked to the same standard. The examiner will look at your drawing and match it to the descriptors in the assessment grid, and this gives us a mark for each criteria. The marks are then added together, and you'll be given a grade for the drawing award at fail, pass, merit, or distinction. If you don't get the grade you hope for, don't worry. Try to learn from your experience, and remember you can always try again. In the graded awards, you can see examples of what pass looks like and what a distinction looks like from previous year's work. Looking at these 2 examples, you can see the difference between a drawing that we've awarded a pass and a drawing we've awarded a distinction. Both are good drawings, but the distinction drawing is more accurate. There is more attention to detail, and the person has really explored the different compositional techniques. They have created a sense of narrative in their work. The use of pencil is refined, and the drawing shows confidence with the materials. Looking at the distinction drawing, you can see the attention to detail, the way that the light and shadow plays across the objects, the range of textures of the various objects, such as a spiral-bound notebook and the ornamental dog. The thumbnail drawings show a range of different experiments with how objects are placed to create different viewpoints, and the work demonstrates distinction quality drawing skills. Although the pass drawing is is well done, the final composition feels a bit flat. It doesn't convey the same energy. And some of the thumbnail drawings show that there were more interesting opportunities that unfortunately were not realised. It's so important that you take clear and high quality photographs of your drawings when presenting them for assessment. Remember that blurred or low quality images can result in you receiving a fail grade or your work not being marked. Here are some easy tips to remember when photographing your work to make sure that it gives you the best chance of securing the appropriate grade. Ensure that the work is placed against a neutral background. Avoid harsh lighting that can cause glare or unwanted reflections. Ensure that the camera is still when taking the photograph. And if you're using a smartphone to photograph your work, avoid using the zoom because this can reduce the quality of the images. Finally, check you are happy with the quality of your digital image and that it's a true representation of your work before submitting for assessment. When you're happy with the work and the photographs you've taken, it's time to upload your work and submit it for assessment. You might want to save the photographs you have chosen to submit on a file on your desktop so that you know that you've got all the right information before you proceed. You'll need to submit the following photographs: an in-progress photo of your drawing. Make sure you take several as you're completing the drawing award so that you can select the best one and submit it to us. A photograph of the finished drawing. This should show the whole image, and make sure you take the photograph straight on and not at an angle, and that it is clear and good quality. A close-up photograph of the finished drawing. Take several photos close up and choose the best one to submit. You want to show an area that really showcases your drawing skills and the detail that you've put into your work. And then finally, we would like to see another example of your drawing or artistic skills. And we ask everyone to do this as it helps to authenticate your drawing and the style of your work. It isn't part of the assessment and you don't get marked on it. Check that you've submitted all the evidence required. Maybe ask someone else to check it as well. It can help to have a second pair of eyes. When you're happy with everything, press submit. You'll receive an email saying that you've submitted your work, and after a few weeks, you'll receive a mark and a grade for the drawing award.